years ago, I
I'm
was
making this
sitting and
video
watching
for
some of the
myself, but I
videos of
thought it
the
would be
Twin
fun to
Towers
share it.
coming down, and my 4-year-old
Because when
daughter
at this
came in.
point,
She was just
it's
playing
like
around, jumping around naked,
butterfly
that kind of stuff. And
wings.
she stopped and watched what I
So,
was looking at. And she said,
I'll just
what
kind of
is
go
it?
through this.
And I said, so I told her the official story. And then he said, but Dad, why are you
Because I
lying
love
to
to
me?
see
I'm a child, I'm not stupid.
how
And then she
the
left. And I felt,
how the pockets
hallelujah,
turn
baby,
out.
that is exactly it. That is a mind that has not been pumped up with all the type of crap and indoctrination and stuff. She was just watching it. I mean,
Because as I make these, I'm going to want to remember what color combinations I did.
You cannot do it. And once again, you do not have to be an incredible scientist or very smart. It's like if you can take a Coke bottle, empty it.
I can't even get this fabric anymore.
Turn it on fire,
this rainbow.
And dustify a house with it. I will believe you. Until then, this is what you get from me, and that's about it. So many of these things, it's just like right away if you have an open mind and you just see it, it's like, holy crap, what just happened? And then over the years, I got myself more and more onto a higher level. I started looking up witnesses. I started looking up the people that were. Are you still there?
Yeah, your video shut off.
My video shut off?
Yes.
Let me just see what happened.
Okay.
Because they changed very, very gradually in the colors. That's why I just absolutely love this fabric when I found it.
No audio though. No audio now.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Excellent. Sorry, you need to do some cutting there.
Yeah, it's not a problem. There's always a little bit you have to do.
No, anyway, so
talking to witnesses.
Yeah, talking to witnesses, looking after. I mean, I got really, really deep. I was extremely interested, because also this JFK led me into Robert Kennedy, led me into Martin Luther King, led me into Abraham Lincoln, Malcolm X. And it was just like, after a while, I started seeing that, whoa, hang on a second. I thought these events were totally separate, that there was no connection between them. I had no idea that there were any, unifying factor behind it. But over the years, I started seeing the exact same people popping up right, left, and center. I was just like, are you kidding me? What is going on here? And then the Swedish Prime Minister, Olof Palme, was officially killed or allegedly murdered in 1986. And to start with, I thought he was not a very nice guy. I didn't like him, but it was a trauma for the country of Sweden, where I grew up. I'm born in Denmark, but grew up there. And so, but I thought, Sweden was this beautiful country, the perfect nation. We've been told that over and over when we lived there. And so I thought, of course, the Swedish police, that is not corrupt, and they will get the guy within a few months, and boom, that's it. And then the exact same thing started appearing, the exact same pattern. And that was the point where I was able to, when I had studied the other cases, I started being able to predict what was going to happen in Sweden with that investigation. And when I started to do that, it just pulled the carpet under my feet, because I felt like a black hole opening under me. Like, this country is not what I thought it was. I thought, everything that I believed about this nation is not true, because how can an operation on that level be connected with these other major ones where you can see a very, very dark hand behind them? So anyway, so I've devoted many, many years of digging into these, trying to expose these. I've written a book, almost 1,000 pages, of the assassination of Olof Palme, the Swedish Prime Minister, but with connections globally. They are so connected to George Bush Sr., the Iran-Contras, pedophile trafficking, arms dealing. When you get into that level of politics and also operations and why they terminate individuals, you're in the same hornet's nest. It's the same that just keeps repeating. And then somehow this led me into the area of alleged mass shootings and alleged false terror attacks. What we were being told were terror attacks, or what we were being told was mass shootings, which in the beginning, I thought, oh my God, a mass shooting. I totally believed it. But then I started looking once again, just like take it apart piece by piece. What did he really say? Or what did that witness say? You know, how is that? And so I started trying to get on location. And I've been to, you know, I'm a one-man band with a small little team around me now, wonderful people that are devoted to the truth. But I tried to go there, and I've been on location so many different places right after these operations happen, when they're still active, trying to just see what happened, not trying to prove anything, just trying to understand what went down here. Because every time something like that happens, you have all of these very hard consequences that hits the population of that area and globally, because they're being used to hammer us all. You know, this fear porn that is being pumped at us. So that is what I've done, and what I've for some reason, I mean, this one is a bit like Rain Man in this area. I don't know, you know, put me in a kitchen or in a restaurant taking orders, total disaster. I would be Mr. Bean, you know, I would forget whatever anyone ordered as soon as I turned my back to it. But in this area, for some reason, I don't know why, this one is like a database. I can remember everything. I mean,
it's true. I mean, from everything I've seen. Now, when you were working as a reporter, what kinds of stuff were you reporting on? I mean, were you reporting on political stuff? Were you reporting on war? Anything like that?
No, politics has never. It was like a friend of mine was asked if he votes, and he said, "No, I do not support organized crime." that is the way I see politics as well. When you get to that, so for me, politics, absolute waste of life to even look at it or listen to it. I'm not saying that I don't want the world to change for the better. That massively is something I'm trying to do. But this whole word, you know, like not interested at all. I mean, and also once you start seeing that, once you get up to a certain level in politics, everyone, to get above that, you need to corrupt yourself, or they need to have you by the balls. Otherwise, you're not allowed in on that arena. So, and they will tell you whatever you want to hear before the election, and they will do whatever they want, you know, out of loyalty to their real employers once they're in office. So, criminals, that's the way I see it.
What do you think about President Trump coming into power here in America? Do you think it's the same thing, or do you think that he's, you know, operating amongst them but not a part of them?
I have absolutely no idea. I mean, I normally, after all of these years, have a pretty good understanding of stuff. Around Trump, I have no idea. I want to say a thing that sounds bizarre, but there was an incredible researcher called Dick Gregory, former stand-up comedian, a black guy who was friends with Halle Belafonte and Martin Luther King and so on. Incredible guy. Very brave, who stood up for truth and exposed a lot over the years. And a few years before he died, he went out, when Trump was coming up on stage, he said, well, it's well known that there are two Trumps, one with a red tie, one with a blue tie, that they're not just one person. And that's his words, I don't know. But when you see his actions, it's very often feels like this to me. It's like going in two totally different directions. And also when you look into any kind of PSYOP, psychological operation, or military operation, when it comes to black ops and so, there's almost always a diversion. You know, boom, something goes off over there. There's a fire in the industrial area over there, so that the fire
I'll put a
brigades,
link in
everybody
on
goes
what
there,
we're
the
listening
police goes
to.
there, instead of looking at what's
There's a
actually going
live
down.
broadcast
And here
with Red
we
Pill
have someone like he is
and
almost
Ole
like
Demigard
a diversion as
last
a person.
night.
You know, and
So I'm listening to the
he's like
replay.
a joker in the game. You know, like Let's Buy Greenland. What is that? That
Let's
is
Buy
for
Greenland.
me,
Remember
look
that?
over here, look away from